Namaste and good morning. We'll start with the prayers. Gururu Brahma, Gururu Vishnu, Gururu Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karvavahai, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us chant Mahamrityunjaya mantra 3 times to pray for those who are in suffering, particularly because of this pandemic. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrityormukshiyamamrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrityormukshiyamamrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrityormukshiyamamrutat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome everyone. Today I would like to share with you a few verses from Bhagavad Gita, from chapter 16th. These 4 verses, these are the concluding verses of this chapter. So last 4 verses. This chapter in general discusses the divine and demonic qualities. Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. And towards the end, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, this one, Trividham Narakasyedam Dwaram Nashanam Atmanah Kama Krodhas Tatha Lobha Tasmadetat Trayam Tajet. Desire, anger and greed. These are the 3 gates of hell. So, Lord Krishna is not proposing here that you go to hell after death. That also may be the case, that one may go to hell or heaven after death. But he is saying one who is under the sway of these 3 has the hell right here and now on the earth itself. And these bring about the downfall of oneself. Therefore, one should shun all these 3. So the desire, the kama, the word kama is for desire. It generally refers to the desire for enjoying some sense pleasures. Lobha, the greed, indicates the desire to accumulate more and more, like it's never satiating. I want more and more and more. That person doesn't analyze for what. But there is no end to his desire for accumulation. Some people may have millions and maybe billions of dollars and yet have the desire to acquire more. For what? Probably they also do not know. And if krodha, the anger, if either the desire to enjoy the pleasures or the desire to accumulate more, if there is any obstruction by a person, by a situation, then anger arises. This is the root cause of anger, that there is an obstruction in fulfilling my desire. Whatever that desire may be, it may be a very subtle thing, but if you analyze, anytime you get angry, it will be because your desire is thwarted. Sometimes that desire could be a good desire also. It doesn't matter. The anger arises because my desire is thwarted. It's blocked. Somebody somehow is coming in the way of fulfilling my desire. So, out of these three, two are impulsive, like the desire to enjoy the sense pleasures and the anger when a desire is thwarted. So one cannot be all the time angry. That's not possible. Similarly, one cannot be always all the time passionate to enjoy some sense object. These are impulsive, like person feels an impulse and then I have to do it, or I have to release my anger. I have to say some harsh words to somebody. I have to give them a piece of my mind, or I have to fulfill this desire. But on the other hand, lobha, the desire to accumulate more and more, this is sort of an underlying thing. This is, in a way, always present there. And because it's not impulse-based, many times it is overlooked. People are not aware of it, and it's like there in the background. So Lord is saying that all these three, for a person who wants the highest good in life, all these three are to be given up. One should shun all these three. There is a famous quote of Mahatma Gandhi that earth has enough to fulfill the needs of all the people in the world, but it doesn't have enough to fulfill the greed of even a single person. So that's the nature of greed, the lobha, that the accumulation knows no bounds. Then in the next verse, Lord is saying, Etai vimuktah kaunteya tamo dwarai sthirnarah achratyatmanah shreya tato yati param gati. Freed from these three gates of hell, man works for his own salvation and thereby attains the supreme goal. That is God. So here man, of course, will be taken for a person. It's not a gender-based thing. So true salvation will come when one has freed himself from these three gates of hell, or one is not coming under the sway of these. So getting freedom from desire does not necessarily mean that desire will not arise in my mind. The desire may arise in my mind, but I will not be compelled to fulfill that desire against what is the right thing to do. So not coming under the sway of it. The desire will arise probably. A desire may arise in anybody's mind. I don't have a control over it. But what I have control over is not to come under its sway. That's what Lord mentions in 3rd chapter of Gita also. And desire is truly the root cause out of these three. If I am not coming under the sway of desire, anger will not arise naturally, because my desire is not that strongly powered that if it is blocked, I'll be flying into the anger. And naturally, then greed to accumulate person will be always reasonably thinking that what to accumulate for what. So only Lord is saying that when one is free from this, thereby one attains the supreme state. What is the block here? So in Gita, many places, it has been described in different ways that how to be free from this impulse of desire. And here Lord is giving one perspective. Yaha shastra vidhim utsrajya vartate kama karatah na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na paramgati. Those who discard the injunctions of the scriptures and they act in an arbitrary way according to their own sweet will, those persons do not attain the perfection. Here the perfection means purity of the heart, which is required to attain divinity within. Nor do they attain the happiness. So, if the person may be doing good acts, but he is still under the sway of desires, and one moment he may be doing good acts, other moment we do not know what he or she will do. So that person does not become free despite he or she may be performing many good acts, because that person is not but that person is guided by his own sweet will. I'll do whatever I feel like. It may be good, it may be, it is my desire. So generally many times you will find that these are good people, they have good intentions, they try to do good actions, but they will not follow the injunctions of the scriptures. They will just do what they feel like doing it. And Lord is saying they will not attain the supreme goal. Then here he is saying, Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavastitau jnatva shastra vidhanoktam karma kartum iharasi. Therefore, the scripture is your guide. Here the scripture also means the words of saints and sages, because their actions are in tune with the scriptures. So the words of Guru, for example, would be amounting to the same as the words of scriptures. So these are our guide in determining what should be done and what should not be done. Karya akarya. In deciding that what is the right thing to do, scripture is our guide. Therefore, Lord is telling Arjuna that you perform your actions as ordained by the scriptures, not what you feel like doing it. And this thing comes many times. For example, in India, there is a prescription by the scriptures to perform a Shraddha ceremony after death of a person. And the ceremony, of course, includes that certain rituals have to be performed in a prescribed manner again. And then You have to feed some Brahmins after the rituals are over. So there is a complete procedure. Many people these days, they say that what is the point of feeding Brahmins? Why don't we feed the poor people who don't have the food? Isn't that more virtuous? So in itself, it's a virtuous act. There is no doubt that feeding to hungry is a virtuous act. But when one is performing Shraddha ceremony, a particular ritual prescribed by the scriptures for a certain purpose, there the scripture must be followed, and one cannot go just by his own sweet will that I'll do whatever I feel. That doesn't work. In many walks of life, you will see that people, for example, taking this example, feeding the hungry, they are doing out of their own sweet will, and it's a good action, but they have no intention to be free from desire and anger. So you can find those persons could be extremely angry on somebody else and hurting them. On the one hand, they may be doing some good acts. On the other hand, because they are not working as per the scriptures, they are not allowing their life to be guided by the scriptures or the words of the master. Despite their good acts, their life is in doldrums, and they are not able to attain the supreme goal. So this is a very important aspect that Lord is saying, that how should we proceed if we have to be free from these three doors of hell and move towards the supreme good. So this is just, of course, just like any Gita verse, they can be expanded for a very, very long time. But in this case, I would just like to invite any questions if you have, and any comments or questions. So there is a message from someone. Pranam Swamiji, nice to see you again. I was 2020 in the course Sanskrit, your Sanskrit course and introduction to Bhagavad Gita. You look quite different than last year. I hope you're okay. Love and blessings. So I'm okay. I look different because yesterday was Guru Purnima, and as per the tradition, as per the instructions of our Guru, we shave our head and face. So that may be the reason I may be looking different. So thank you for your loving concern. So anybody who wants to have any comments or questions on this? So there is a question here. The Guru is free. So it's better if you have your name also, because I see this one coming from Om. I do not know who is asking. It's good that when you are putting a comment or asking a question, provide your name also, please. The Guru is free and has all the Guru needs, even enlightenment. Why can't one feed the poor with love as if feeding God? Nothing wrong with feeding the poor with love as if feeding God. I don't know how would you take from my talk that I'm saying don't feed the poor. That is perfectly fine to feed the poor. So there is a question here. Could it be that the prescription to feed Brahmins was to ensure the existence of Brahmins to guide others, but now it is no longer necessary? Who will decide that? Will you decide by your own intellect? That's the point here. How, this is precisely what is Kamakarata, acting by my own free will, my own sweet will, that I feel like I decide the logic. So remember, this is another thing, that it's not always by logic that things are to be decided. Because if a person is not careful about taking care of the desire, anger, and the greed, then logic alone will not take very far with that person. So that's the reason why Lord is saying that follow the scriptures or the words of master. Masters may guide you that, okay, you don't need to feed Brahmins, and in that case, it's okay. And the same person is asking, is it now that most Brahmins are wealthy? Is it because so Brahmins should not be fed? So remember, it is the charity, because the question is about a little bit about charity here. The charity is not always most virtuous when it is done to those who don't have anything. This is a very interesting thing. So generally we believe that charity should be done to those who don't have anything. And this is a fair point, and this has its own virtues. But scriptures say, and this also goes into the tune with human heart, that the charity, most virtuous aspect of charity is to be done to a person who is completely given to God. And that's why if you look at, even today, Guruji, for example, he receives far more donation. He doesn't need, his basic needs are fulfilled. There is enough money for him to have, and yet people give to him. Why? Because there is desire that I want to be like him, and it is a very important thing to just give to him. Actually, in India, it is considered that if a saint accepts your donation, you are extremely fortunate. So it's not always that poorest person should be the recipient of the charity, and that is the most virtuous thing. So therefore, the injunctions of the scriptures have meaning here. People, you're talking of charity and feeding the poor. I know people whom, if I say something, they will stop talking to me, and they are otherwise their actions are very good actions. So out of anger, they can hurt somebody easily. They can say very harsh words, and yet you will find that they are helping a lot of poor people. So those people who are just doing by their own sweet will whatever they feel like, Lord is saying that they will not attain the supreme good. It's not that their actions are not good, but they are not careful about getting over these three basic instincts. How do you avoid anger? By suppressing it. Anger is an instant reaction to something. So you don't suppress. By suppressing anger, of course, is not to be avoided. Anger is an instant reaction to something, and that I already discussed, that something, if you look at carefully, it's always your desire. So how to get over the desire, that will be the question. And desire, as I said, not to come under the sway, to do what is the right thing to do. And how do I decide what is the right thing to do? That's where the scriptures and words of Guru come to help. Otherwise, you cannot avoid anger. If you have a desire, even desire to help others, for example, and if I become a block in that desire, you will become angry on me. So you will feel that it is okay to be angry, to hurt somebody, to help somebody else. That will not take you much anyway. There is a question here. Is there a fine line between sadness, concern, anger about injustices in the world, or change that needs to be taken, such as global warming initiatives? Can you feel passionate about something up to a point before anger? Of course, feeling passionate about doing something good with the energy and enthusiasm, that is fine. You remember, it's always passion overtaking me. Once it happens, you cannot avoid anger. Anger will overtake you. So I do something the right thing, and the results are not in my hand. You see, many of the things in Gita, of course, get connected to each other because it's ultimately one scripture for the benefit of the humankind towards one single goal, the supreme happiness. So when if I am coming under the sway of the passion, I cannot avoid anger. There is a question here: which actions specifically does the Gita prescribe? When I meditate, I sometimes get inclinations, which I usually follow. What is your view on this? Thanks. So, because our situations in life are different, all of us have different situations in life. Gita does not prescribe, of course, specific do's and don'ts, because do's and don'ts for different people will be different. There are other scriptures which are more in terms of what to do, what not to do. What Gita is prescribing is that in general, you feel that what is prompting your action? Is it a selfish desire? Is it a selfless desire? Is it something which will help you overcome your desire and anger? Is it going to bind you more in towards that? So what kind of, generally, if I am following these basic principles which are mentioned in Gita, and also another thing Gita mentions very clearly, that I perform the action, that is in my hand, but the result of the action is not in my hand, and that has to be understood very carefully. So with that, if I have that basic understanding of Gita, then my actions, whatever I perform, will not be against the scriptures. And Gita does speak about Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamoguna, whereby and certain criteria are there that which actions can lead me to Sattva-guna, and that is recommended. But different people will have different do's and not to do's depending upon their situation in life. Desire brings an attachment to the outcome. How to be free from that outcome? A desire to not have desire is still a desire. Okay, so you don't have a desire to not have desire. That is not what really meant here. When Lord is saying to be free from the impulse of desire. So as I said, the desire may arise in the mind, but I will not be under the compulsion to fulfill that desire, because I would be guided by what is the right thing to do rather than do whatever I feel like. And once you understand that what is the right thing to do, and that is determining my actions rather than just the desires, then your attachment to the outcome will be reduced automatically. So the similar question is coming again. Given desire is the root cause of anger and greed, how can we work on not creating desire? You don't work on not creating desire. I don't think that people do something to create the desire. That may be a very unusual thing. You decide your actions based upon what is the right thing to do, not based upon what I feel like. So that is the thing. So with this, I'm happy to have this discussion with you on this topic of Gita. There are no more questions or comments, so we'll switch to the meditation and we'll have a short meditation. So with this, I'll stop sharing the screen. Okay, there is one more thing. Desire for self-realization is also a desire not. That is not a desire in the sense, because that's our real nature. In fact, one to attain the self-realization, that desire will make you free from the impulse of desire. that's not like an impulsive thing, right? Desire for self-realization. So in fact, that is the way we want to go, and therefore we want to be free from the impulse or the compulsion of the desire, anger, and greed. So the desire for self-realization is also a desire in a way, like because we use the same word, but not in the same sense as it is discussed here, to be free from. In fact, if one has truly that desire, he will automatically be free from other base desires. So with this, I'll stop sharing the screen. We'll have a guided meditation. I'll also stop my video because you will be closing your eyes, and we'll have a short meditation. Please sit straight. Chin a little down. Tongue rolled up. Eyes closed. Eyebrows raised up. You put your attention in the top of the head. That point is called fontanelle. And just observe your breath going in, coming out. No effort in breathing. You are just the observer of the breath. Just as it is flowing. Do not make any effort to change it any other way. Just observe. Breath is the most important thing in our life. The gift of God. No breath, no life. Love your every breath. Just the simple act of observing The breath will make your breath rhythmic and will calm down the mind. Breath and mind, they are very closely interrelated. Take a slow, long, deep breath. Inhale, hold, bow down in the front, forehead towards the ground, as much as you can comfortably do without causing any pain in the body. Exhale, conscious breathing. Again, slow, long, deep. Inhale, hold, sit up, exhale. Conscious breathing. Slow, long, deep. Inhale, hold, very gently bow down in the front. Exhale, normal conscious breathing. Inhale, hold, sit up, exhale. Normal conscious breathing. Again, slow, long, deep. Inhale. Hold in the top of your head. Bow down very gently. Exhale. Feel as if your head is touching the feet of Lord. You are bowing to God. Normal conscious breathing. Slow down deep. Inhale. Hold. Gently sit up. Exhale. Normal conscious breathing. Now we'll perform a few cycles of breathing, pranayama. Inhalations and exhalations, both slow, long, and deep. When you are inhaling, perceive as if you are inhaling the love of God. The breath itself as an indication, is a proof of love of God for us. I'm inhaling the love. When exhaling, out of that being fulfilled with that love, I'm exhaling all peace all around me. In that spirit, we'll perform a few cycles of pranayama or the breathing. Slow, long inhalations and slow, deep, long, deep exhalations. Slowly inhale, love. Exhale, peace. Inhale, love. Exhale, peace. Inhale. Love. Exhale. 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 Peace. Just sit silently, surrounded by this ocean of love and peace. If any thoughts are coming, don't resist. Let them come. Let them go. Love and peace, which is our very nature, cannot be disturbed by any thoughts. Slowly bring your attention to the fontanel. Conscious breathing. Bow down in your front. Offer your deepest love and gratitude to God and Gurus for giving us this opportunity to have the satsang of Bhagavad Gita and meditation this morning. Pray for your friends and family. Pray for the persons in need, the whole world. Offer your own personal prayers. After your prayers, please sit up. And just sit silently for a few moments. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you all.